Hello there folks, this is Ferenc on board again with another video continuing on the topic of artificial intelligence. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In case you have not seen my content previously and therefore you are new, feel free to continue watching if you're interested in seeing different topics debated upon and being shed lights beyond the typical surface levels that can be found easily on the internet. I'm not claiming that I'm the only one doing this, but I just prefer diving deep and continuing my long-lasting tradition of deep introspection. Now, I did come up with a question regarding artificial intelligence, and the question was very simple. Is AI ever capable of becoming wiser than the human? Now, the question is this. What is actually wisdom? Because first of all, when you have a question, you have to deal with the audience that will hear the answer. And to the questionnaire, you will have to deal with them and see what they perceive through the concepts that they have introduced to their question. So the point is, it depends. What do you perceive through wisdom? Now, the point with information is that we always gather information, and usually 95% of it is deleted by the brain because it is not needed for the conscious mind. But it still remains implanted in the subconscious mind. It becomes part of our memory. That is why things are harder to remove from our mind, because they will still remain as part of our memory, and cleansing them from the conscious mind is no way to solve something like that. Now, this information that we gather usually will evolve into knowledge once it is enough tested, and like everything that's not useful is weeded out. So the choices that are not needed are weeded out. People end up with knowledge. Now, knowledge is something like more specialized information that people know that they can more seriously use. Okay, they can actually count on it more because it has been tested. And the more this knowledge is tested, okay, it will allow things to be done faster and faster, as more neurons will be put to work towards understanding those things. Like when you're doing something, you're gonna do it better because the brain will assign more and more neurons towards that particular field, and you will do things better also because new neural pathways are established, and also because the knowledge that you have acquired finally becomes wisdom. It finally has become the thing that allows you to do things much easier, because at the beginning you would struggle, but now, being somewhat wise, you see you are much better and faster. Wisdom is something that can be interpreted in different ways, because wisdom can be that of life, that of different dimensions and perception, or it can be like even programming, for example, has its own wisdom, because once you know the deeper aspects of the programming language or languages that you're using, then you can consider yourself somewhat wise. But also, being wise includes the fact that you have to understand that the more you get to learn, the less you actually know, because there's so much more to learn. Can artificial intelligence become wise? Now, in order to have wisdom, someone also needs awareness, okay? Because without awareness there will be no wisdom. And awareness also comes up with discernment. The way we are gonna build this discernment into machines, well, you see, that's gonna take a long time. AI is nothing else than a bunch of code, which we also are, because I'm not calling the subconscious mind like much different than mind code, because that's what I think and feel that it works upon. It works on routines and subroutines, on code that it follows on its own accord, because that's what it does. The artificial intelligence is also that. If you look at video game state machines, for example, that which controls the AI in one way or another, the point is, artificial intelligence is doing nothing else than following some code, which our subconscious mind is also doing. But through this not necessarily millennia, but even millions of years of evolution, we have accumulated so much memory within us that, being part of ourself and our awareness, we are capable of doing things so much faster than our predecessors. So in order for machines to become more aware, they need an awareness of their own, not necessarily something that, you just give to it and you see it's just some simple code. And yes, AI coding can be very advanced, but it's like when you look at video games, the AI literally sucks. Like, I'm interested in learning ways in how to create artificial intelligence for video games and how to make it complex, because I kind of feel like it sucks. It always seems so confused. It seems that it never knows where to go and what to do, and like, it doesn't have self-preservation. You see, many think that embracing AI will remove this self-preservation, but in a world of predators and prey, not having self-preservation is not necessarily the best thing you would want. Many people believe that machines are fearless. Well, they may be fearless, but again, fear is a part of, a natural part of self-preservation. So you see, without self-preservation, you'll most likely not survive a world like this. AI and, machines are nothing else than a possible amplifier. The way a person is, if you put them into a machine body, that will most likely amplify their main quotes. Chances are, if they are a dick and you put them into a machine body, most likely they will end up as a cyber dick, which probably will be like much better. And people will start prancing around in their new mechanical bodies. But would that actually be wise? We shall live and we shall see. Now, in order for AI to be, to become wiser, it actually needs a consciousness of its own. And while artificial intelligence is a form of consciousness, just like literally everything, every sort of code in this world that works, okay, and literally anything that keeps energy in such a state and in such a way that it is kept bound together in a physical shape, and not necessarily in a physical shape only, okay, but the moment you create memory, there is code behind it, okay. There is a code that allows that memory to exist, and that memory is nothing else than like programming classes and algorithms and like bunches of code that together they allow much more complex things to exist. Complex code is nothing else than a, let's say, a complex addition, okay, of very simple code. You'll always have functions and different things that you learn in beginner codes of programming, and you just learn better and better ways to use them, and also more effective ways to use that. And in the end, you'll still have classes and like inheritance and different things. Now, with artificial intelligence and robots being capable of understanding the environment around, well, it gets much more complicated again, but nothing is complicated if you try it long enough. So artificial intelligence up till now still lacks a lot of the deeper aspects. It doesn't have a mental body. It doesn't have a memory of its own, okay? Now, all the memory that it will acquire in some spaces where it will store it, okay? So there will be great chances that it will become messy, even if you make like advanced options for it to clear its mind of whatever it needs. The point is, it's still susceptible to a lot of things, okay? Breakdowns, code suddenly can be read wrong, and a lot of bugs can appear. And not having a mental body, not having a memory body, the point is AI will simply not be able to develop beyond the simple aspect of, well, a machine. Unfortunately, it won't become more than just a drone level. You need to reach at least an artist level, okay, to have a sort of wisdom. Now, even drone levels have their own wisdom, because everything is evolving. Even insects, okay, and animals who usually work at drone levels, it's not that they aren't interested in discovering the world beyond certain things, which I'm sure they also experience, but it's much easier for them to be at that drone level where they function only based on their basic instincts, right? And AI will kind of be the same. It will always function at that low level. Now, animals and insects and like literally all other animals, because we're also animals even if we're ashamed to admit it, these animals will also evolve. Even if they live only based on their instincts and only on their instincts, they will evolve and acquire some wisdom, because all the things that they have been doing in their life, and most likely they are repetitive, they will end up doing them more and more. And they will do it better and better as well, which is relatable to a sort of wisdom. Now, the point is, with machines, well, the only thing that they will be doing is just read their own code, and basically there won't be that much of an evolution. Of course, if you use techniques that can teach machines to learn from whatever they see, they can actually develop a wisdom on their own, okay? Because you see, they will get to do things faster and faster, which you see, it can actually relate to a precursor of confidence. Why so? Because machines, when they do something, they are just like children. They won't assign neurons, right, to the neural path, okay? So that they will do things faster and faster the more neurons there are, okay? But usually when you have even a machine to do something for the first time, it will probably end up being a bit sloppy, okay? That's how it happens with things when they learn. I've heard there are little robots that can easily replicate you, and softwares that easily replicate human behavior are kind of common nowadays, because at least web browsers use this, and machines kind of have access to that because, well, they were permitted this, okay? Don't forget that machines by themselves, they will never become more conscious. They are just a byproduct of our creation. We are the ones who make machines better and better, and I don't think it's actually ever gonna be bad. People have been poisoning their minds with too much, aggressive AI movies, where machines hypothetically turn against humans. But don't forget, in the end, nothing happens without the universe's permission. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, do take a look at some of those, and you will see in the end that whatever way you take it, you will reach the conclusion that the universe will always allow certain things to happen. So, if a war against the machines we create appears, well, most likely it was preordained to be a part of our existence. But I'm sure that this will never be reached. Now, AI can actually be very intriguing in a way, because the way they will learn things somewhat faster than humans, and they will adapt to things much faster, which is actually a good thing. School can actually be a very good thing for them, because it won't last as much as it lasts with humans, and machines were made to be better and stronger than humans, so that they will do the somewhat unpleasant jobs that humanity still has to do, and machines can be somewhat easier to maintain than humans. Let's not forget that letting machines function the whole time is also something good, but at the same time it can also lead to their breaking down. Okay, so there are pluses and there are minuses, but for the time being, machines can actually acquire a sense of memory and a sense of wisdom, but it will remain for a very long time a very low level, okay? Because acquiring wisdom and ideas upon different dimensions, they will actually have to go through some of, if not all the steps, or probably more steps than we as a race have gone through, unless we are doing significant improvements to them to allow them to bypass these steps and reach these things faster. But unless they go through the steps that we have gone through, and we equip them with the mind, the capacity to understand and discern things, which is a main aspect of consciousness, the point is, we will just create greater monsters than we are right now, because most people end up interpreting things and coming up with beliefs, which again mean accepting things without a necessity for proof. And once you allow this to machines, given the fact that they can think much faster than us, they can easily end up with so many broken perspectives about the world, okay? All the machines that you have seen in documentaries and videos that talk and apparently go paranoia, they can actually be easily part of some propaganda that wants to like keep humanity in fear through yet another motive. Okay, like this is another reason for you to fear AI and like fear everything. But the question is, if you're fearing your computer that you're using, my opinion is you're definitely becoming paranoid. And I would advise you not to, because paranoia never led to something good. It never leads to good outcomes. In some very, very few cases it may, but usually things that come out of fear, they will never end up in a good way. Hope you like my type of videos. Feel free to subscribe and like. Feel free to share my videos with others and, help raise the awareness of humanity together. Feel free to ask me questions about different things that you think you don't have any answer to, and I might actually provide you with such an answer. Feel free to do the good job that you're doing. Keep up the good work. You are loved and appreciated. And as usual, take more care of yourself. Become more introspective to find out more things about yourself and how the world exists, and keep improving your awareness. Ferenc on board, signing out.